SBA EIDL loan increase, reconsideration, making a comeback, all parts of SBA EIDL. How about 0% interest for 6 to 18 months up to $150,000, if not $250,000? Literally with no docs, no collateral. And alternatives to that, how about another SBA loan? How about a combination up to $2 million, $5 million incredibly fast without collateral, good or bad credit, low, medium, high docs, and much more. Hi, this is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker expert who helps out a lot of businesses get the right type of financing. I put them in the right vehicle strategically with the right partnership and roadmap through me, my lender partner, my network, my underwriters, who I associate with. No joke, I have the best. I've vetted them over years to make sure that I cut out those who don't work or who are only in it for themselves, not the interest of the consumer, and much more. So to answer that is the SBA EIDL coming back, the increased reconsideration. It is January 6th, 2023, Friday here. Welcome in. So the answer to that is not exactly. So there's not a lot of new release coming up outside of the fact that there's been a lot of fraudulent activity, inflation percentages, increased decreases, cutting back costs and spending through traditional banks. So I'm going to cover a little bit of that and then go away from it and get into the private lending. But if you're in the position where you put in an application May or whatever that was, and you still haven't been considered, you didn't even receive an email, some kind of consideration email, or maybe you did and told, hey, you can't get any more funding right now. All applications are closed. We're not looking at them. So that happens to be the case right now. A lot of the things that are happening right now are with the deferment, with the payments, the hardship accommodation plan, the relief there. So making sure you're making payments on time through the CAPS portal, knowing what you have to pay, go through the SBA.gov site to make sure you pay and all that accordingly. Make sure you're taking care of that. And if you've done that, great. If you've been given relief, awesome, if you've needed it. And there might be an extension. There might be more of a deferment coming up as we get more news. But again, that's on standby. And one other thing that I want to make mention of before I transition is, I said in another video, it's on the channel, you guys can view if you're watching it from there, great. But there are EIDL loan scams. And that speaks to the fraudulent activity, millions upon billions, even more right now happening. Things that I'm getting inside that I'm hearing from and learning and seeing, okay, well, why is this happening? What can they do to not make that happen? And so much more. So that's what I wanted to get across. And people who pretend to be like me, there are people on YouTube, not like who want to be like me. What I mean is by creating a profile. So there are people who fabricate creating maybe YouTube profiles, TikTok profiles, Facebook, Instagram, maybe Twitter, blogs, etc. So I made a video on that. I'm thinking about releasing it maybe later today or another time on YouTube. We're on TikTok right now streaming. And so look out for that. I detail, oh, actually I did, I think already release it today. Yeah, should be on the channel. I did it this morning myself. Just making sure there's a couple of videos that I was going to release today. So I had a couple of them on my mind. So it is now on YouTube. So if I go here, I'm on my laptop. How to get a business loan up to a certain amount from an expert business loan broker. So I got that right here. Oh, here I got to change the title on this because I put how to get a business loan up from, I was supposed to put a number there. So the video is now on the channel. You guys can view more about how to make sure you're not getting misled and then communicating with the wrong person. And underneath in the comments, if you're watching this on YouTube or elsewhere, and it's not me commenting, be very careful. Let's see. There it is. There it is. I had to remove the word up because I was contemplating putting a number between up and from. So that change has been saved. Again, let me know where you guys are tuning in from. How's your day? How's your Friday? I hope everything is well, that you continue to be blessed and appreciative and grateful for every moment, every minute, every millisecond you get on this planet, because we're not guaranteed another day. So transitioning away from EIDL that I just spoke about and making sure that you don't run into a scam yourself or fraudulent activity. If you have, you know who you are, and commingling, making sure you don't use those funds incorrectly. If it's past that, there's an investigation happening, and making sure you make your payments on time. It's very concrete. There are a few more things with EIDL like with home recovery and a few programs there that are still underway. Aside from that, now you have SBA loans of a 7A and a 504 loan. I've spoken about this in the past, so I'm just going to touch on it the surface level. And there's content I'll leave you guys to down below, especially on a Hybridge SBA 7A loan. I'm getting a lot of those done right now, by the way. I actually just spoke with the loan officer like 20 to 30 minutes ago, and the lender and the organization there. They know me. And so I just wanted to let them know, hey, I brought somebody in that I can collect documents, or if they wanted to ask them for, they can do it themselves, and I can see all that as well, and a little bit more that we go along the process. But there's an SBA 7A where you can get up to $5 million if you're eligible, and you have to have stronger credit. You have to have the revenue. You have to have the time in business with 2+ years time in business. Ideally, you want to have $300,000 to $400,000 in annual gross revenue and $500,000 and above. But you can get in with little, with an express loan, even sometimes a standard SBA 7A, or excuse me, a small business 7A, with at least 120, sometimes 150,000 in annual gross revenue, 2+ years time in business. Ideally a 650, if not more of a 660 and above FICO credit score. Have at least 2+ years of recent profitability. It's better to have business credit established, as most SBA bank loan lenders, or the bank, because that's who's giving the loan, or it's a non-banking lender. There's two different ways of going about it. And I have multiple lenders that are preferred and the best in this industry. Just so you guys know, I work with the best, as I said in the beginning of this video. This isn't a joke. You come to a true expert. You're coming to a broker. You're coming to somebody who knows their stuff. And I'm not going to be that salesperson like that in your ear. I don't do that. I'm not cut out to be like that. I talk to you like a regular, everyday human being, a friend or a family member, like you've known me for years. We're not blood related, but we are at the same time. Like I could be chatting up with you about anything instead of just, oh, we're supposed to be talking about business. And so I treat you like a human. You go to these other organizations. I broadcasted an email today, but guys, by the way, on my email list. If you received it, if you haven't, please open it, or it might have landed in spam. But I released a video not too long ago about a certain review of a company or organization or an online marketplace where you have to be a little bit careful about giving your information to. A lot of you don't know what happens when they get that information and how it's sent to third parties and what those third parties do with you and how they get in contact with you and what can happen to your credit. You just have to be more aware and guarded. So aside from that, you have the SBA 7A, the 504, that can be used in a similar way with the 7A for real estate, land, and other things, CDC related. I'm not going to get into like CFIs and CDFIs and a few of the other ones right now, but there are grant opportunities available also. The microloan program, the SBA Microloan, you have other nonprofit, for-profit organizations that I've connected a lot of people to, multiple grant opportunities. If you guys go to the bio, you guys will be able to find that. I think it's the last button when you click the link. But at the very first one, that's the one you guys should be going to. So the first one is a funding submission form, and it should also be in the description down below. Click that link and then click the first button. Especially as a business owner, you're looking for financing and you want to do it the best, hassle-free, stress-free. Like I said again, you're talking to like a family member, literally. When you hear from me, you're going to be excited. You're going to even say my name probably loud. Hey, Michael. Hey. And so it's pretty cool when you have that relationship with me where you don't have to worry about somebody else like talking into your ear and biting off more and just trying to get you in today. If they don't get you in today, bye-bye, they go to somebody else. I don't do that. I'm not going to say, hey, you don't want something now. I don't want to work with you. So they're going to end up going to somewhere else. And you know those people. I'm not going to start naming the background or the city from where they're from and all of that. But you get the Wolf of Wall Street people who end up calling you and telling you, hey, I'm going to tell you this to make it sound all good. They're going to butter you up. Again, like I said, they put you on a skillet and you don't even know. They're sauteing you and they're putting more butter. They're putting more water, the steam. And now you are wondering, oh man, you have no question. You're like, okay, I'll give you guys my documentation. I'll send an application. And then they bait and switch you. They tell you something else. So be very careful. I won't go too in depth on all of that right now too much. I just gave you enough of a preview. But SBA 7A, 504, 8A mentoring, the microloan program, you have grant opportunities out there which are a bit harder right now to come by. Not to go in an application, but to get approved for them. They're a little bit of a more scarce, limited resource right now, but there are opportunities for those type of grants, like technology grants as well, where they can also take you by the hand and mentor you and say, hey, and I can even do this too, excuse me. They can mentor you and help you and associate you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, who then is more ready to then get a loan or an advance, whatever that option is available. All right, outside of SBA 7As, you have 0% interest for 6 to 18 months. Now, these two are not associated. And the 0% interest for 6 to 18 months, it is not a loan. This is a business credit card stacking program through what's called a credit line hybrid. Now, what this credit line hybrid does is you can get access to multiple business credit cards at 0% interest APR for 6 to 18 months. Like I've had them from Chase, I've had them from a few other ones. You can get limits up to 20, 30, 50, 100,000 and really start growing your list. And it doesn't have to be all underneath one card. I wouldn't wait too long. I'd say, hey, I've applied one, I've used one, maybe in the next month or two. But there's a Chase 5 rule, so you have to be careful. If you're going with Chase, that's who I recommend. And so now you can pull, when you have credit lines underneath it, you can pull, liquidate the cash out of, and use those for several investments. For those of you in here who are startups, non-startups, this works for you very well. However, because it is more credit-based, you should know that. Credit cards, what's the first word? Credit. And so if they're not looking at all these bank statements, all these financials, with the credit line hybrid per se, more so, then you have to be ready. Where's your credit right now? I know you don't have to share with me in the comments. And again, at any point, if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, I got to get going before 12:30. I have people I have to follow up with. I got to send out some emails. I have to send some few text messages out. I got a huge round of things to be doing from 12:30 to about 2:30 or 3 today that I got to finish up on before the start of the weekend. I have a few people I have to contact. So, hey, right now is your time and your moment. But that's what's happening there. That's a business credit card stacking program. I'll leave more content in the bio. There's one button, I think, that still says 0% interest for 6 to 18 months. I haven't changed it. So click there and it'll walk you through, I think it's my video where I made, and I show you everything you need to know about that 0% interest. Right now, a lot of people, like I check up on them and they've done it. Others who are like, I'm fearful, I'm hesitant. Is this really going to work for me because nothing else has worked? Or I just don't know. It's very trustworthy who I work with, who I've gone through myself. And again, like I said, I've vetted everybody in the business credit space, the majority. The personal credit, I have my people, myself who's doing all the business funding. And I've done these other parts to a degree, but I have to focus on helping people get business loans and advances. And that's my part. And that's what I'm a true expert in, as well as these other areas. But I'm a true expert in really helping you navigate getting the right type of loan and getting ready for it. It's not just getting it, but getting ready for it. I help out a lot of people with their profitability. I help people out with other concepts. If you need financial planning, you need to understand how to get your bottom line up, I do a lot of that too. And I can connect you with my team as well, who can do that while I'm focusing on other parts. And then I can come in and help out a little bit. So just keep that in mind. So that's the 0% interest. Now, a 680 on all three consumer credit bureaus would be ideal. That's what you want to shoot for to even get access to this credit line hybrid program. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have a 680 to get a business credit card. Now, you won't reap the benefits of those credit lines or get those credit lines. So it's in your best interest to get to that score and above. And it also has to do with inquiries, utilization, of course, anything derogatory, open trade lines, new open trade lines, charge-offs, anything that could be showing as non-credible. Like, as in, you don't have enough credibility built. That's what I mean. Like, you're credible for that, but it's not enough time underneath that mortgage, that account, that automotive account. You haven't taken out a loan. You haven't built enough meat and potatoes under it. So that's one part. You can get business credit cards, though, with less than 680, 650, 625 or so, around that range. I would recommend going for 650 for those of you, and you'll probably get a starter card. So I don't want to go too far into the business credit card limits right now. I don't want to get into what you must and must not have. I want to segment into this next topic, and that's something I can speak to you individually. I've helped out a lot of people. I've even gotten people to go to like Chase or Wells Fargo after my guidance, and they've been approved for 10, 20, 30,000 after what I told them to do. And I have connections to bank managers. Literally, I'm not just here saying that. I have connections to different bank managers, accountants, bookkeepers, everything. And so you get my list of Rolodex when you work with myself. Now, what other alternatives out there? You have up to 2 million, 5 million, incredibly fast. Without collateral, no hard credit checks, bad credit is acceptable, and lower documentation, as well as vice versa. So let's start off with what I just said. So you have private lenders, investors, who are willing to give you money based off of what your revenue in your business is. This is called revenue-based financing. It doesn't just encompass merchant credit card statements, credit card receipts, like a traditional merchant cash advance, and they look at a little bit more, of course. But all revenue coming into a business, ACH, checks, cash, anything you name it, wires, electronic transfers. These are all things that I see when I look at the bank statement. So again, like I said, I'm not the voice. Like some companies out there have the voice just to be the person who markets. And a lot of these organizations don't really understand or don't know what it feels like to be that person who's had to do everything, who is the person who has to market themselves, the person who has to market free, market with paid advertising, who has to collect the bank statements, who then has to have that next follow-up communication with yourself or the lender or the organization. So when you're coming through me, you have somebody who knows their stuff. And I've gone funding myself in the past. What more do you want from that? Somebody who knows the mistake, somebody who you can learn from and say, I don't got to do that, or I've done that. What do I have to do now, Michael, to shift my way of getting business financing? Because not every lender, and even better, not every underwriter is created equally. Be careful about all these organizations out there because a lot of the time they will bait and switch you. Like I said, they will end up over-promising and under-delivery. Hey, just send me this and I'll send you a term sheet. Or hey, just send in some bank statements and I'll show you a contract. And you're like, okay, that looks good. But little do you know, they're going to be like, I just looked at this and it looks like you've been turned down, but you could qualify for, BS. Why didn't you tell me that before? Why weren't you transparent with me? So what a lot of people are doing right now are bait and switching. I don't bait and switch you. I tell you how it is. You can't qualify for that. So this is the only option you have. Or your other option is to work on your personal and business credit. Differentiate the two. You have your business credit. You just don't have what you need to get the term you wanted at the rates you want. Even the rate, if it's not all interest rate or factor rate, total payback, APR related, what you need to look at are the benefits exceeding the repayment. Whenever you get an advance, a loan, any kind of thing, of any kind of funding, you have to look at your benefit. First of all, am I taking the right amount of money? Am I not? Okay, I didn't get everything I wanted. I can come back and get more funds. That's fine. I can work with that if that's your position. Okay, well, I'm taking 20, paying back 27 to 29,000. Well, 20,000, I'm taking it and I'm making it 40,000, Michael. Peasy, easy peasy. Somebody else may say, 20, I'm only gonna, my revenue's not coming up. I'm going backwards. My overhead is right now just off the roof. If I pay off this debt right now, that won't even help me. I need more. And then you try to get more. And then now you can't stay up afloat. Your overhead is just increasing and increasing more than what you can get. And so the majority of you don't understand that this money is growth and expansion money. This isn't supposed to be just survival money. Lines of credit can help, of course, for that. But if you're looking for a longer term, for working capital, inventory related, just think about it. When you go for an SBA and your reasoning is for working capital inventory, and I do these every day, guys, the amount of collateral, the amount of fees are going to be higher. And as opposed to you saying I have an SBA expansion where I'm going to open up a few more buildings, I have a few leases, I want to take care of these office space, I want to move more restaurant space into those and acquire more. So yeah, that's the building. And then that's also, you have more equipment you're bringing in. And so there probably is assets underneath that building too. And then the lender looks at it and they go, easily. Okay, we can work with that. We don't need the collateral, but we can work off liquidity, equitable collateral, and a few other things. So I'm going too far ahead now. But without collateral needed, we're just going to look at bank statements about 3 to 4, 4 to 6, up to 12 months at times when it is more seasonal, agricultural related, etc. And so if at the minimum we looked at it's just 3 months, and depends on per state, Washington, California, Utah, etc. But if you looked at just 3 months of bank statements, a copy of your driver's license, and a voided check, that's all we would need. Now, if that's all you need is a supply, where your 3 months of bank statements, a copy of your driver's license, and a voided check, would that make you happy? And at the same time, maximizing the amount you could get without having to offer up collateral. Sure, you can consider it sometimes hard money, but that has a wrong context and connotation. Don't think of the word hard money as being bad. Fix and flip. Look at real estate investors, hard money. Look at other forms. When people get money, they only want to look at the interest. This isn't a 30-year home mortgage. This isn't a 30-year EIDL loan. See, they've conditioned you to believe that's how business funding works. Business loans, credit-based, lines of credit, installment loans. You're going through a bank, traditional bank, credit unions, private lenders, digital banks, online banks, non-online banks. So if you were to get in with minimal documentation, because a lot of people, they come to me and go, Michael, what do I got to do so I don't have to supply tax. I can do it. Like, they can go and get like $1 million SBA loan or more or less. But they come to me and go, Michael, I just want something for the next month or two. I just need really something for the next 6-7 months. I don't need something longer term right now. I don't want to even supply all that and go through about 6 to 8 weeks or so of getting an SBA loan and getting looked at for all that right now. I can probably do it in the future. Others, they do come to me with the opposite. So, yeah, I can help you, Mr. or Mrs. And what I would prefer you do first, before I even tell anybody what lender or what organization to go through, I tell them to fill out the questionnaire on my site. So that's what each and every one of you should be doing. Go to the questionnaire in the bio description. That should be one of the first links. Click there, fill out one of the two options, click actually, and then fill out that form. Should take you no longer than a minute, less than a minute. You can give me some estimates, but be as accurate as you can. And then in the thank you page, you'll learn more about my processes. That's why I do it this way. So I don't have to be on every call, inbound, outbound. I'm not going to be doing that. I just spoke with a lender recently and a loan officer, and we're going over the whole thing and saying, he told me, he's like, Michael, for me to do this with you, I want to be the most efficient. And I let him go on, and I said, first of all, I appreciate what you said with the word efficient, keyword, because that's what I praise. That's what I work off of. Efficiency, energy, and time. No friction, no resistance. So for those of you in here who are causing that, please go away. I'm not for you. And if you leave that out before we go into an application, then okay. But don't bring that in. Don't bring that attitude into an application. I don't want that. So when I bring somebody in, I want to make sure you're taken care of already before we're in an application. That when I get feedback from my underwriter, I can just send you a quick email or a text message. I don't always have to call you. Now, if you're not being responsible and responsive to an email, something as simple as that, when I tell you to, and you put me in a position where I had to do something else that maybe was more uncomfortable to me, but I can do it well just because I learned the skill now. Look at yourself in the mirror. And are you serious about this? Because it doesn't demonstrate that you are. So, but I get a lot of emails. I get a lot of stuff to do. Those are a lot of excuses. And so as much as you're doing that, I run multiple businesses, and I'm about to end the video hopefully before 12:30. So those are just a few services. You have the term loans intermixed with a merchant cash advance, or term loan mixed with a hybrid cash advance, I like to call, which is encompassing all revenue. Between 1 to 2 years is normally what you get in this market without collateral. And with collateral, you can push past those 2 years, sometimes without, up to 36 months. But collateral based, if you want more time, lower rates, sure. What I am speaking about, I am going through, in the beginning, I spoke about an update on the SBA EIDL Loan increased reconsideration, and I said that isn't available, no open applications. It's kind of stalled right now. There's not a lot that I'm getting from the inside or on the outside, but payments being made and all of that, which is justified, fraudulent activity, trying to stay clear away from any of that. Even if you got an SBA EIDL loan, if it were to open up in the future again, just don't cause any problems. Don't commingle. Don't use the funds for the wrong reasons. I don't have to get into what those reasons are, laundering homes and all that stuff. Like, just don't do it. Sending money out to a different state or sending money to someone, or doing all of these things that you shouldn't be doing. Just understand the parameters of how to use this money, COVID epidemic, relief, and so forth, and you'll be helped. But we're kind of past the COVID-19 in a way. I wouldn't say all, because there are still occurrences, and then there's still the inflation, and then the recession, and all of this happening, and so there's so much going on. But going back to this point on the different options, you have the term loans, you have the equipment loans, you have the SBA loans. A few more things, and then I'm going to open it up to chat because it is Friday. I want to take a break and let you guys get on your way and answer anything you guys have. But understand that every service isn't created equal. So I had just gotten a person funded for $9K. They're looking for equipment. Now, if they take that $9K, they could possibly use it as a down payment on top of other liquidity or other kind of equitable collateral that they have to secure getting that piece of equipment. And if you secured it with collateral, sometimes we can go up to 6 years. Not always 5 years. There are a little few things that are coming that I've been getting partnered with. And there's a lot more coming in 2023, guys. I have more to release for you guys. There's always something growing with my lender association, my partners, and the underwriters. Like I said, not every underwriter is created equally. And the majority of the time, when you come through somebody like me, I can beat the offer like that. a lot of time, and it's very ethical. Sometimes it maybe isn't, but the majority of the time it is. And when you work with me, you're thinking about it this way. You're helping out another small business owner or a business owner. Right? You're coming through me, and you're making an impact and a lasting impression. And I'm going to love that communication with you. It's not the money, it's the love that I have for that person. There are times when people even contact me and go, Michael, you know what you made this one? Like they congratulate me, and I go, I really haven't been keeping track of it. Honestly, I haven't. I could predict, but I'm just really here to help a lot of people. I think God put me on this planet as an introverted, as daunting as it seems to me still, to help people's businesses, not only with money, but in various ways. I have a digital marketing background, so I helped out people build their websites. I still do, but I've kind of limited these days. I have more of a do it for yourself. I give people video content bonuses and stuff like that. I'm not going to start getting into all that right now, but I have more of a do it yourself, and you can follow along in those videos and set up a website. I used to do it myself. I have a team who does it, but I don't have them do it all the time, and I can do it a lot right now with friends and family. So I've had friends and family who come to me who are contractors, manufacturers, people who started cleaning business. They needed their websites. And I used to have a big program where I would pay for it yearly and I'd have access to everything. But I kind of then slimmed down a little bit because I have other projects that I work on. But I did a lot of that. SEO. I actually finished a blog this morning, guys, on my site. I have 2 of them. So viralfundingsolutions.com is the site to go on. And today I finished the third half of one of my blog posts today. I did it last night for a little bit. I didn't have to. I normally don't do it at that time. But I published it this morning, and now it is on the viralhomebasedpursuit.com site. So I have the 2. So Viral Home Based Pursuit is kind of where it all began back then. And then I'd still do my blogging for financial topics on that. And then I'll probably transition a little bit more into Viral Funding Solutions. So if you guys want to know more about it, you guys can check out there. And so I have quite a few blog posts recently that have been published. A great one right now, and it's an association that I have with an affiliate marketing business of mine too. So it kind of all intermixes. So I'm going to come up here and then we'll close up shop. I don't use the word. I mean, we're always selling one another. I know that sounds cliche. He's like, oh, there's that guy who's saying that. But no, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling even information. I'm not putting a price on something right now that I'm selling. I don't even have people purchase any kind of consulting with me. I do that stuff for free, coaching, consulting. Maybe in the future it'll change, but I don't want to. I want to do things the way that they are. And there are higher tiers to that to get access to me, when you get access to me, and the way you do. But I'm not selling, like, I don't want to use the word selling alone. That just sounds disgusting in my mind. Because there are loan sharks out there. I am a broker. I'm a person of value who believes in sharing the content that other people don't share with you because they don't know it. Or you can't easily find that online. Or there is some of that online, but you can't find everything else that's added on top of that. And there are a lot of things online that you guys cannot find out by yourself, by just searching. You maybe came up across another YouTube video. Here, find out about this company if you get the rates in here. And so you got to be careful because they're not painting a clear picture. They're maybe not an expert in that space. And so if you're listening to them and just clicking a link to go try it out, just to try it out, there's information that you weren't given a lot of the time. They weren't giving you everything. Maybe because they didn't know it, or they did, but they just didn't want to share it with you. They're like, if I say this, that will kind of repel them. But I'm as transparent as I can with you. I give you guys the negatives. I give you guys the positives to everything. I don't sugarcoat anything. Ask my younger brother about that. Good question. Ali, appreciate you. Thank you. Is negative days bad for your file? Yes. I mean, you knew that answer already. Now, how many is a different thing. Because let me start off with this. You cannot have more than 5 non-sufficient funds, for short, NSFs. And in any of the last 3 or so months, 90 days, 60 days, you'll see that sometimes even 30 days. With the higher tier service, they don't want to see that in any of the last 30 days at all, and even one. But when you have that room up to 90 days, that's non-sufficient funds. Now, you can have that or no more than 5 non-sufficient funds or no more than 5 negative days and or. So No more than 5 negative days in the last 90 days, a lot of the times, with those lower tier documentation, revenue-based lenders. They'll give you that flexibility. Now, if you're creeping into the 2, 3, 4, and we're seeing it being something repetitively, we have to be careful because we don't want to lend to somebody who's continuously having a pattern of doing it. And then secondly, if you maybe had one, the difference is if you have a non-sufficient fund or however many, if you have even 2 negative days, you have to have strong revenue. You cannot just get in with 15,000 and say, well, I have 3 negative days or I have 3 non-sufficient funds. And then you try to justify. And I love it. I love hearing you say to me, like, I just got a goosebump right now, literally in my mind, running through. And it's just because I care. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, you hear me say it, but when you see it, you're going to be like, this guy does. He really cares about me. It's not just a company that you go and submit an application to, a robotic system, there's a customer service rep. No, I'm dealing with lenders and underwriters and people every day who have feelings, who even tell me about things like their marriage, they're in the court, they feel down and they feel comfortable telling me those things. And I'm so appreciative of that because they open up and I don't have to ask more questions. That's sensitive. I don't want to if you don't want me to, but I'm there for you. My hand over your shoulder. Hey, come on in. And you're not across the table from me. It's you're going to become in the most pressure-free zone with me ever because of my background. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not naturally a marketer. I have an academic background. I went to school for chemical engineering. I learned the chemistry. I learned the physics. I've learned, those classes. And then I transitioned into the business because that's what I really found out. That's really what I wanted. I think this was boring me a little bit. I was like, yeah, I could do this better, and I think it would help me more. So then I started getting into all that. Played Division I soccer. And so appreciate you. Thank you for stating that. I don't ever say that I am. I think there are people who are smarter than me. If you're the smartest person in the room, you got to hang out with different people. And people may classify and say I am that person in that room. Not in every room. Of course, there are different topics as well to discuss. Maybe in the real estate space, it's like, well, I'm not the smartest person in the room. I know things, but I'm not the smartest person. So you got to leverage those people. And so people leverage me all the time for my resources and my connections. That's why people come to me too, because of my story. I won't get into it right now. It's a Friday. I don't want to break down like that. But if you guys go to the bio, click the link, or the description, I may have something that says the viral funding story or learn more about me, and I'll get open and real with you guys. But yeah, you don't want to have too many negative days. The revenue will make up for it if it's strong enough. And then the average daily bank balances, like monthly bank balances, but daily is more important. We want to see how much money you actually keep in your account per day than what you withdraw from. Because every business owner, I know this, I've done it myself, but I cleaned it up, is we withdraw more from the account than what we've deposited. We can say we did 20 deposits in a month. Damn, you did 20 deposits. And then on top of that, you have credit cards transactions. And then you're like, okay, credits, debits, here's the deposits. Here's what's your actual revenue, because it's different from your depositing. And so when I look at that and I go, yeah, he has deposited or she's deposited about $120,000 for the month. What's the actual revenue? We can look at that more. We can discuss it more. Okay, $120,000 was deposited, but then they withdrew $250,000 out of the account. And then people want to get into this explaining situation, which is fine. I want to hear you out. That's what I'm here for. Why did you withdraw? I see what you withdrew, but why did you withdraw that amount? Like, is it that you have to every single time? What can we do to trim that? So I work with people and I go, if you withdrew a $200,000 and I see that you had a pattern of withdrawing 150, 160, and then you have a $200,000 most recently, like what made that jump? First of all, I don't look at saying, hey, what do I cut back? I look at what made that jump. So I look at fluctuations and I then see, okay, well, where can we trim? And say, what do you need to back up on? So if it's a certain product or a service, something that you fulfill on, well, how can we make that more efficient? What do you have to do to cut costs? What do you have to do to let more money go out of the account than what you deposited? How can we double on the top of what you've already been depositing? And so I'm always looking at those little things like, what are you transferring? What are you withdrawing? What has been deposited? What's the electronic? What's that check telling me? What account is that going into? As they have a reserve account. Okay, they have that. So they got to focus on one product right now. They got to focus on that one customer, double down on that one customer if they can do a transaction, if not an extra 5 or so days, that would help them with their bottom line, especially their gross profit margins. It's no brainer. But as an entrepreneur, guys, I've helped out businesses as a business owner, not just a business owner, an entrepreneur as well. I can humbly say that. So much work. You guys wouldn't understand that, how much work. Maybe you do, how much work it's actually taken to get to a point where I'm at. And I'm not saying I'm better by any means. That's not what this is. All right, anybody have questions? I have 5 more minutes. I said 12:30. I'm not going over that mark, and I have to get going. 4 more minutes now. Appreciate you. Thank you, MJ, for the follow. I don't say this enough either. If you guys want to share the room, please do so. But I'll get going here in a moment. Share it with others who you feel will find value. It can be a complete stranger or a friend or a family member. And again, we are here on a Friday. Usually I leave it up to FAQs. I wouldn't be speaking about the things that I just spoke about today, but I wanted to get that off my chest and speak about it a little bit. Let me move up here before I go to the bottom. Oh, you did ask how are you, so and then the smart part. Like I said again, that smartest person in the room, but I'm just a very meticulous, cerebral person. That's just my nature. So I like to study. I like to read books. And I like to learn. So when you plug yourself in, but you apply what you learn, it could be the most advanced, basic thing. You're moving up levels. I'm always constantly learning. And so life is a never-ending learning experience. So whether you're learning about things externally or internally about yourself and how you change, life is always going to change and you have to adapt. And if you're not ready for it, a lot of people, they do get left behind. And in this economy, you have to learn to adapt like that. Things are changing, revenue is changing, and a lot of different things. Good question. When did I start my business? So not this one exactly, but about late 2016, I want to say. No, 2015. Going into 2016. I would say mid 2016 is what I would label it as. It was after realizing, I had been working the whole 9-to-5 route. And I don't want to get into my story. Like I said, I wouldn't get into that right now. But yeah, I was overpromised, underdelivered, underpaid. That's an understatement. And I'm exhausted just even thinking. I'm not going to think about it. But I'm sure you know this, or you are currently going through it yourself. You're just fed up. You're not happy, 401k, everything. What do you mean by getting? So yeah, I was fed up for a long time, and I was just at a position where I was working myself mentally hard, physically. I was in a logistics/financial role. But to the grace of the man upstairs and his family and his closest, I found an opportunity, and it was through a friend of mine who I hadn't connected in some time. He responded to my Snapchat. I think it had teriyaki the night before. Kid you not. Can't make this up. And he responds back, well, I'm having lunch. Literally, the timing was right. I'm having lunch. As he responds back to that teriyaki Snapchat, and we got caught up. And he talks about his trucking business or what he was doing. And he told me about ways of starting a business. And back then, I was just the guy right there in the cubicle in a 3rd-story building at the very bottom, like a dungeon. There was a bright light above me. But at the same time, the area was so dark. The bottom, if you can imagine it being all brown with cracks, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. I can't say the name of the actual bottom, but brown cracks going left and right. One looked like it was coming to me because it looked like almost like the earth was going to separate. But by no means would I say it was, I'm knocking it down. It's just, I stay there for stability and for more reasons, benefits, etc. And I thought maybe I'd have to go back to school for a year. And sometimes you don't get what you want. And before that job, I had done other roles. I had done construction, manufacturing, quite a few in my younger 20s. But that was after post-school, academics, university, college. And a little bit after those jobs, I went back to school for a little bit. And then did some more. But I also got certifications, and I just got an insight into each and every one of these industries that I had worked in, various ones, manufacturing, construction, warehousing, etc. The list goes on. I even did ramp agent work. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but I did that a long time ago when I was in between positions and seeing should I just go back to school then, because I was a Division I athlete in soccer, and so I didn't always want to continue down that path, and so I did things my way, and I'm so grateful that I did things my way because I probably wouldn't be in this position, and with the amount of, I guess, strength mentally that I have. You can see physically that I don't have the best body. I have my dad's genes, and I was skinny at one point. I just don't have that metabolism as I used to at the age of 30. But I still work out. Like today, I'm going to go and do a cardio workout. I've been feeling better. I was sick for some time. I might actually go out today and actually walk and then jog. But I'll have some extra gear to make sure that I stay warm. But I'm not going to continue into this story. You guys can learn more about it. I may update it in time because there's a little something that I missed out about how my dog, I don't want to get into my dog, but my dog recently passing, who was my dog brother, that crushed me hard. That like put me in a place where I was so dark, and he was everything to me. He saw me when I was most vulnerable. He was a Pickapoo little dog, the most loving white, white colored dog, and just amazing. That makes me never want to have another dog ever again. Like I am like that. And if it happens, it happens, If there is another dog that comes about, the lady wants another dog or something like that, then it happens. But it'll happen naturally. And I just don't have that, I won't say that I don't have that attachment, but it's just I don't want to have that attachment again. And it's just so hard because you went through it with one person who, in my arms, he was passing away. We had to go put him down. But the day that we did, I had him in my arms, telling him it's going to be okay. I'll see you up in heaven one day. And my grandma and grandpa are up there right now. They're actually looking at you, and they calmed you down right now. And so I'll see you one day, and then just a lot of things. And so I can go deeper. It's just I'm starting to feel it right now. I don't want to get into that. So that's a big reason why I do what I do. It's even before that happened, I have a huge why I got into what I do. But that right there, there's nothing more life-changing than seeing somebody who, I'm going to use that word, dies in front of your eyes. A month before, my grandma, we all came to see her, and family from California, uncles, aunts, people that I haven't even seen in some time too. And I made her laugh. I kind of make her joke. My dad's a joker of the family. There's like 5 brothers. He's the second to youngest. And so, I kind of got that trait from him. I'm a very serious person too, but when you get to know me and I make jokes around people, they're very dad joke, or they're very Hispanic, funny jokes that they can only get. That kind of sense of humor. But it's only 1 or 2 words sometimes I say, and they kind of, a lot of them laugh about it. But yeah, I'm going to keep it up, of course. I've been better. It happened in February, by the way, of last year. So, man, Christmas time and New Year's was hard. It was hard because I don't know about others. I know they had him on their mind too, but he was on my mind a lot. And I don't like to show it in front of others. Sometimes it's just hard to, so I just kind of back away and go do my own thing. And today, I'm going to go sit where I have a shrine of him and everything. So I'm going to go sit there. I'm going to go say hi to him. I do it every morning. I do it before I go to sleep. Every night, I go to his ashes and I tell him, hey, thank you for being with us today. And I literally do. This is something I don't really open up about. And it's just what I do. And it's because it's not a comfort thing. It is, but at the same time, it's thank you for being with us. We're looking after you too. And so anything really, and I've already taken the time to, grieve and do all that, but every night, usually before I go to bed, before I go to my room, left alone with him, just me and him, one-on-one, there's nothing, especially with a human being, there's nothing more vulnerable than that moment right there. I kid you not. And being real with it. It brought out a person in me that I didn't think I had. So everything I do, I'm very conscious of. And I'm very keen on it. So, yeah, that's a bit of me. I could go even deeper again, but I've already, turned the screws. I don't want to be doing that more. So, advice for 20-year-olds. Good question. And what part of the world are you from? I like giving advice. I know I'm not 40, 50 where, hey, I'm going to give you 80 years of advice. No. Or I'm not going to be that person who goes, hey, like a drill sergeant. If you don't get your, no, but sometimes, but not all, not usually. So what I recommend, and at my age, a lot of people, by the way, would say that I have wisdom because I've gone through a lot already. School, non-school, I've taken other positions, sports, not athletically gifted, but I was very strong up here. I out-competed people. I beat people because of my mindset, because of those talents, those skills that I learned and I processed. And in the positions I've been in, the network that I have, people are comfortable with me, not because I bring them business or what I do. It's because, man, Michael, you're like, I don't want to use the word all down to earth, but I'm just like a human being. I'm not like a salesperson. I'm not a marketer like that who just drills it in your ear, who's very Americanized and goes, he has every little lingo in his words, just match everything, and he's saying it like that. And I speak different languages. I have a Spanish speaking language. And so I differentiate between the two. I'm fluent in it. I can read it, write it, but I speak a lot more English, especially growing up in Orange County, California. So I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing. You're from the U.S. Just be you don't have to be the best communicator in the room, but be the best action taker. That's what I ultimately recommend. Yes, follow up on what your thoughts and your words are, if you say them out loud or in your head, but take massive action. If you think you could take action, 10 times that, 20 times that, 20x, 10x it. So don't just do the minimum, always do the maximum. Period. And when you're doing this, you can't overlook your character. So in business, any business that I'm running, and again, like I have these emails open, like I have time-sensitive emails, by the way, that any business that I'm in, the first and fundamental thing you got to work on is you. You got to work on yourself. And so that comes back to personal development. I can't tell you how much I have taken time to do that, but it's a lot of years it took more than a year to actually understand that it's me who's getting in the way, not somebody else. And so I always think about now in the positions that I'm in, what does that other person deserve? They deserve respect, honesty, punctuality, discipline, and everything else. And so it's your character that you got to work on. So to be good in business, to be good at anything you do, you got to work on your character. You got to work on your attitude. I'm not saying you don't have this, but attitude, you have to start becoming more punctual, disciplined. And all of this comes from experiences externally, but a lot of it is going to come through here yourself. And what shapes you are your current beliefs. So every belief you've been given by your family, it's precedented, and it's not always true. So you got to take time away from them. If they're not helping you grow, if they're telling you, like I grew up in the education system, by the way, you know this already. I've said this a little bit earlier. Academically, I grew up that way. And so like a lot of our cousins that were going to school, getting degrees, all of us, we were told, get a degree, go get a job, be happy, start a family, raise some kids, be happy. That's the path I was down. Nothing wrong with it if that's what you want. But there are alternative routes. If you don't go to school to become a doctor, an engineer, or equivalent to, there are alternatives like this where you can become yourself a broker. You can become yourself a mortgage consultant, a mortgage broker, a real estate agent, a real estate investor if that's what you want to focus on, a high-ticket closer, whatever it is that you want to do, affiliate marketing, network marketing. Whatever you do, be the damn best at it. Period. No, I have people to this day who act like that. Stop acting like that. Do you want it or do you not? And are you willing to have a strong enough why? Always whatever you do. Excuse me, battery went down. So if your characteristics are here, what is your why? What's pushing you to do what you want to do? In here, I don't want to know about money. I don't want to know about a friend telling you that there's an opportunity to do this or it's just my job. That's a lot of external reasoning. I want to know what is it in here. Like for me, I was fed up. I was tired of being undervalued, underappreciated, but at the same time, the company had gone down under. I had to go back on food stamps. I had to let my family down yet once again, even though they didn't tell me that. Hey, Michael, you're doing your best. You got a different position you can get in, and it could have been, it's going to be better, but this isn't the only way. And I'm tired of doing this. going on unemployment again, having to freaking write those things. And what hurt me most when I had to do that again was that the freaking organization was sending me an email telling me I had to pay back 20 to 30,000 or whatever the amount I was getting because I didn't report it. I did report it. And that's something that sticks to me till this day, because my heart, that was like the day where I thought I was going to pass. I literally didn't know if there would have been a tomorrow, because somebody telling you that you have to give all of this back, like, and it's coming from that department, the government, like, that's not a joke, especially IRS, like, but you think there has to be something wrong, and I disputed it. But for them to do that to me, that's a disgrace. And so at that time, being who I am, I was just very in my thoughts. And so you can only imagine, if you've been in that position before, your heart just dropping to the ground, other people seeing that, how you're so vulnerable in front of them, and there may not be nothing you can do about it. So you got to take the life lessons you've been given and then turn them around for good. It's like good debt and bad debt. Even if you have bad debt, what are you going to do? Take that money, or take other money if you can, or another form, or continue to pay that off, turn it into good debt. You can balance and then look for more. So I guess I went a little bit too far, but what it comes back down to, the advice I give you, is be the best that you can be at that. Always, it's not just because I have a mathematical or systematical mind, by the way. You know, I took integrals, I took calculuses, I took the higher math courses, etc. Sciences, I love chemistry, by the way. Chemistry is my favorite class. Thermodynamics, thermochemistry, I love all that. But have a reverse engineer in mind. So always break concepts down. So from the very top, like you have a ladder, you're climbing up the stairs, let's say. At the very top, what do you see when you're there? Let's say you're up a mountain. So you look at everything, right? So you're looking at the wild, you're probably seeing a gazelle, you're probably seeing a lion roaming out there. Think about, how did they get there? Or how do I get there? And so I'm always asking myself, from the top looking down, what are the steps that got me here? If I'm at the top, what did I do to get there? What did I do to deserve it? So before that, you go, well, before I get into business, or even when I'm in business, I got to look at going backwards a little bit, and that's my character. The bottom level here, the foundation, is your character. The level right above that is continuously getting educated in your space and becoming the best in your niche. So you're growing those levels, and you're doing everything. You're probably masterminding like I do. At the very top then, now you're there. But when you're there, don't think it's over. I still have to work hard for what I have. Now, there are days where I don't have to work as hard, of course, but because I've already established things. And so when you do something, establish yourself. And it could take years. It doesn't take sometimes a year. It doesn't take 6 months. It takes time. And you have to consistently, and that's another thing. If you don't see the results, disassociate yourself from the outcome. Do the things every single day, the activity return on your investment, to get the financial return on your investments. Now, onto what scale, that is dependent on your time and your consistency and the strategy and the tactics. So once you have all that down and you're doing it correctly, you're going to start seeing some trickling. Or you might see a big amount and then maybe it just drops, or it just continues. So do the things every single day that are going to maximize those results. Do the 20% of the activities that are going to generate 80% of the results. So look at the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. I recommend you read that. One that I read early on in my days, and some people have maybe opposing thoughts, but at a ground level, it's a great book to read. And the one I have out in front of me, it's The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I've probably read a lot of this like over again, and I still to this day go through it some days, and I flip through a certain part of the book and I'll read it. Another one too, I like this one a lot. This was given to me as a gift a couple years ago for Christmas, I believe it was. The Tao of Charlie Munger, a compilation of quotes from Berkshire Hathaway's vice chairman on life, business, and the pursuit of wealth. So I might be able to read you guys one in here. But I use this kind of like as a Bible, and you'll find your book, and I have another one I'll show you right now. But there's one on making mistakes. There's no way that you can live an adequate life without many mistakes. In fact, one trick in life is to get so you can handle mistakes. Failure to handle psychological denial is a common way for people to go broke. And there's more that he writes underneath these and different stipulations and a lot more. But that's one book I recommend too. The Power of Happiness by Neville Goddard right here. See, I keep them right next to my desk as a reminder of like where I've been, what I need to look at for that day sometimes, because that'll help me for that day. The Bible to me, though, from a lot of books, Atomic Habits. And this is by James Clear. Oh my, if you haven't read this one, I've read it probably like 10 to 12 plus times, literally from start to finish again, because it's just a reminder. And at times I'll just flip to a certain section that I'm already reading right now, and I'll continue reading from there. And it reminds me of, hey, Michael, don't ever give up. You're just because you reach some goals doesn't mean you are where you want to be yet. And I might be at the top, but I'm not. I don't ever look at myself that way. And so I'm always thinking about how to this section, how to reprogram your brain to enjoy hard habits. So there are little things you got to do that result into big things, and that's what an atomic habit is. Another one that I recommend, Renegade Millionaire by Dennis Kennedy. This is more of a marketing plot. You have 100 million offers by Alex Hormozy. And these are not plugs, by the way. I'm trying not to make a shameless plug. But these are ones that will help you, not only personally, but if you ever get into business. And there are more business books that I have. I have a lot more down here in my room. Some that I'm still reading. But yeah, your knowledge. Knowledge is power. But action. Knowledge without action is powerless. Oh, and be real with people. I don't necessarily call people out for their character, but I will kind of make it on notice. Like, I won't say it straight, but it's like, quit and around. I don't have time for energy or stuff like that. And I don't say it that way, but just don't around with my energy or time. I don't like that. If you're going to say you're going to do something, keep to it. Whether you say it out loud or in your head and you're not doing it, that's bad on you. That shows me who you are. And it's also a testament of your credit. Like when I look at people's credit, oh man, you can have the best revenue per month. You could probably get a $600,000 loan, but your credit is like a 500 or 550. Okay, who's the person that I'm working with? And I know right away, like I could tell that person is not punctual. I could tell they don't have the character. They're flawed in some departments, or they have a reputation. There's a difference. Reputation and your character. Your character is more important than your reputation. They help out one another, but you have to have character. Have your character. Your reputation is who your employees know you as, or your other associates. That's your reputation you uphold. But now, when we're not talking about your business, when they don't see you in your business and you come to communicate with me, I could sniff that out like that. Without a word that's said, it could even be on a call. Like I can hear the breathing. I can hear the pause between the words. I can understand where this conversation is going before a word's been said. And I can sense their attitude and their behavior, their ego, their stubbornness, if it's there. Oh, I know this is going to be a long road. And I can't just tell somebody to work on their personal development, because business owners are not entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are not just business owners. Sorry if that hurts. But it's just the truth. It's not aggressive. It's just tough love. Can't take that tough love and use it. Constructive criticism. You got to go look at yourself in the mirror. And so I've had people come up to me like that before, but I've always had a good character. I've just had to develop it more. So once you do that, you can really rock and roll with anything. Nothing really like puts me down. People who come into these chats sometimes go, oh, there's that guy again, or he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, yeah, this guy just wants entertainment. He's been here probably before, or it's a different person. I'm not going to give them any more mind. Or I'm going to address something and I'm going to challenge them to say something, but they don't usually say it, or then they do say it, they just don't say what's right. Okay, everybody, it is past 12:30, way past that. I've exceeded my time. Excuse me, I'm not sure why my nose is itching. But I'll try to put this replay on the YouTube channel. We went over SBA EIDL Loan updates and quite a few more things. Please enjoy the rest of your Friday, your weekend. Reach out to me if you need any help with getting business funding, a business loan in advance, business credit, personal credit, financial planning. You have your bottom line, and a lot of more things that I do. Like I said, again, I have other businesses that I run. Excuse me. That hasn't happened in a long time. So feel free to reach out. Description down below. If you were wondering why my hair's all over the place, it's a Friday and I'm kind of tired today. Appreciate you. Thank you. You too. Stay safe and secure. Always be positive. Take the advice that I've been giving you, as well as everybody else in here. Use it. And remember, smile. Like when you're happy, everything circulates. Now, don't be fabricated happy. Don't be like, I'm just going to smile. But I know we all have something going on, but when we can address those things, overcome them, and even not overcome them, but be happy, smile with people, not just people you see every day, but have that charismatic nature to you. And that's what a lot of people say about me. And because I built time into this, I've had to work on myself. It wasn't just given to me. So I'm that person like that doesn't talk a lot, but is very charismatic. When you get to pick my brain, oh man, you're in. So I'm that guy who is the loudest in the room without being that way. Hey, my time for, as in like reaching out to you. Oh, turnaround time once the form is filled out. Good question. Okay. So Friday, Saturdays, right now are catch up days. That's why I gotta get going. I gotta do a few things. I may get caught up on I gotta get out by like 2:30 today. It's a Friday. But if I don't get caught up on questionnaires, because I did them all week, Friday, Saturdays are my catch up days. So I'll be likely working tomorrow. And so I have a list of people right now. Like I have a lot of submissions that recently came in, but I have a list of people. I'm gonna open up this notepad. But Fridays and Saturdays are usually my catch up days. Oh, but it is worth the wait. For those of you in here who are like, what is he talking about? This questionnaire you guys submit is well worth the wait. And then once you guys see it, you guys can get started from that email. It's legitimate. Just so you guys know, it's very, very legitimate. I wouldn't show you guys something that doesn't work. Excuse me. But yeah, it's usually a Friday, Saturday. And if it's not in a Friday or Saturday, and it's early in their week, I try to do it between 1 to 3 days. But that doesn't always end up happening because, like I said again, I'm doing about everything right now. And so at times, like in Wednesday night, Tuesday night, I believe it was, I did about 25 questionnaires because I needed to get caught up. And I did them. I banged them out. Like I was on my AirPods, music in, or just listening to something else, listening to some piano music or some Pink Floyd, and then just getting in my zone. So I just started doing everything one by one. And some of the files took a little bit longer, but they had to. And then, so I'm going to get caught up on it regardless. And for those of you who do become more responsive, and I haven't done a form yet, I even move you up to the higher top because you show responsiveness. So there's those people who still fill out these forms and I do it for them, and I'm like, where'd they go? They show up on these lives with the nerve to show up on these lives and say, hey, Michael, I'll fill out that form after everything that I've given them, the value. And then they still like disappear. People don't even pick up the call. I have to call them. Ugh, I don't want to call them on that. Like, you put me in a position to do that. I don't want to be that person. I mean, there's a time and a place for a phone call, but like that, no, that's disgusting. So yeah, just so you know, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general. But that's my turnaround time, usually between 1 to 2. And this, what I've been acclimated in the nomenclature of it, it's usually between 2 to 3 or so days. And so it's okay. People expect like that. But I show you guys on the thank you page like why or what it takes. And so when you work with the best, this is what happens. And I don't say that word lightly. And I've worked up to that status. I've had to work for everything. Hopefully that helped you out. All right, I'll leave it open for about another 30 seconds. I should have been gone about 20 minutes ago. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say or follow up on? Understood. Appreciate you. Thank you for stating that. And of course, I'm not going to take my time too much, of course, right? But yeah, I got quite a few to do. Like I'm on my list right now. Look, this is not the notepad too, by the way. This is the email that I still have to categorize. Someone filled out your form. There's a whole list. Those ones I've already responded back to, but there's a lot right there. So if you can send me an email, by the way, like this is a quick tip for those of you. Send me a quick tip. Be like, hey, Michael, we spoke on TikTok. Or hey, and I know who you are. So it's like, hey, just wanted to make sure. Just you can even do that so you show up at the top. Sometimes I write it down the majority of the time, but just hey, Michael, just checking in. No, I haven't received anything yet. People do that every day without knowing. Like they say, hey, Michael, no, I haven't seen the questionnaire come in. Oh, there's Lisa. She was already on my list, but I got to move her up to the top now. And then that's what happens. I moved them up to the top. Kathy the other day, I moved John up to the very top. Now John's getting an SBA loan, and he's in the process with my loan officer, my lender, and I. We might have a 3-way conversation next week, or it's just between them two, and I get information and documentation collection and a lot of things. So I guess that is everything. Appreciate you guys. Nothing more. Again, From that comment, I'll leave it another 30 seconds. Like if it comments, I'll reset it about another 30 or 20 seconds. So 30 more seconds. A lot coming up this year, guys. A lot. New things. All right. Appreciate you guys. Like always, like I said earlier, please enjoy the rest of your Friday weekend. Make the most of it. Some of you may be working on Saturdays because you're a business owner, even Sunday. I've even seen people not take the holidays off, or a Christmas Day, or whatever it is you do celebrate. But take some time off, recover. I was sleeping in bed last night for a bit because of being tired. I was in my room from like 4:30 maybe to like 8. I was tired. I did a long live yesterday, so I don't want to overextend right now. But that'll be everything. Appreciate you guys. Look out for the blog, the channel, bio, link click down below in the description or from wherever it is you're watching. Appreciate you. Thank you for the thumbs up. I'll even one more up you right now. I don't do that too often, but thumbs up. And appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. And for those of you that could make it, and if you're watching on the replay, please do that. Like and subscribe if you haven't, if you're watching this on YouTube, on TikTok, anywhere else. Share this with others. This video is about to expire, but share it with somebody else once it's up on the replay who you feel will get benefit of it, as well as any other content. Bring them in here, sit them down, and let them know there's somebody that will take care of them at the end of the day. They're not a number to me. That's all. Take care. Bye.